It's a cold, chilly morning on October 10th, 1943. Pilot Robert "Rosie" Rosenthal arrives at the briefing, joining 60 other pilots and navigators from the 100 Bomb Group. Among them are his co-pilot, Winifred "Pappy" Lewis, and navigator Ronald Bailey. The mission is announced. The target is Munster. Unlike previous attacks on factories, today's aim point is the Old Town Cathedral. Shock spreads through the room, but for some, including Major John Egan, it feels like rightful revenge for lost comrades. One by one, the B-17s rise into the air. The Royal Flush takes position at the back of the formation, a dangerously exposed spot. The mission is already perilous, with intelligence warning of over 500 enemy fighters ready to intercept. They are to be escorted by 216 P-47 Thunderbolts, but as the bombers cross into Germany, the expected escort is nowhere to be seen. Due to bad weather at their bases, the fighters never took off, leaving the bombers vulnerable. As they press deeper into enemy territory, German fighters appear. Me-109s and FW-190s tear through the formation, met with a storm of gunfire from the B-17 gunners. Me-110s attack from the rear, launching rockets that shake the sky. Chaos erupts as aircraft are struck and explode mid-air. Mademoiselle Zigzag, the lead B-17 piloted by Major Egan, is hit. 2 engines are lost, and a gash opens in the fuselage. The bomber struggles to keep up, falling behind the formation. The aircraft directly behind slowed down to stay with her, causing a catastrophic chain reaction. As confusion spreads, pilots face an agonizing choice: stay with their crippled comrades or push ahead. 2 bombers decide to rejoin the main group, but the others, including the Royal Flush, remain behind. The isolated bombers are easy prey. Enemy fighters strike mercilessly, setting multiple B-17s ablaze. The men on the Royal Flush watch helplessly as fellow aircraft are ripped apart. Egan, realizing his aircraft is doomed, orders his crew to bail. One by one, they jump. Egan and his co-pilot, John Brady, are the last to leave before Mademoiselle Zigzag is torn apart. Despite heavy losses, the Royal Flush pushes forward. As they approach Munster, the German fighters withdraw, leaving them to face the city's deadly flak. The last surviving B-17s are shredded. One drops its bombs prematurely and turns for home, only to be swarmed and destroyed. Another is set ablaze and disintegrates mid-air. The Royal Flush is the last one left. Rosenthal hands control to the bombardier. Bomb bay doors open. The aim point looms ahead. The last B-17 releases its payload just before flak tears through the fuselage. With 2 engines lost and the aircraft barely holding together, Rosenthal regains control and turns for home. But the danger isn't over. German fighters return, swarming the wounded bomber. Gunners fire desperately as enemy aircraft close in. Rear gunner Bill de Blasio takes down multiple fighters, but the B-17 is riddled with bullets. Waist gunners are hit, and the crew scrambles to keep the aircraft in the air. The Germans finally break off, low on fuel, leaving the Royal Flush miraculously intact. With severe damage and wounded men aboard, the crew throws overboard everything not bolted down to stay airborne. They limp back toward England, hoping they can make it. At Thorpe Abbott's, mechanics and officers wait anxiously. The scheduled arrival time has passed. Other bomber groups have returned, but there's no sign of the 100th. Then, on the horizon, a single B-17 appears, struggling but still flying. The Royal Flush touches down, engine sputtering, and rolls to stop. Medics rush in as the crew steps onto the grass, shaken but alive. There is no celebration, only silence as the reality of their mission sinks in. The raid on Munster was one of the worst disasters in the history of the 8th Air Force. The 100 Bomb Group suffered the most, earning the grim nickname the Bloody 100. Of the 130 men in the shot-down aircraft, 37 were killed and 93 became prisoners of war. Only 1 bomber made it back,